give up on actually even trying to run her. I think T1 is the one that comes to mind. So it's interesting to see the Sage. It's not a throw pick or anything, but definitely not part of the usual menu, if you would, for 100 Thieves.
Definitely not a part of that usual menu, and this gets me so much more excited now that 100 Thieves, they're trying to, gain some ground with some agent compositions that they can mix up and play on other maps. I would think that if Sage works here on Ascent, no matter what the team, but if Dicey can make it look good here, what is stopping them from not only playing that on Icebox and Split as well? I think that it looks like 100 Thieves, it could just be the silence factor, having maybe falling back on comfortability, and that Sage having the res, having the heal, kind of making the team feel a bit more comfortable. But that could be 4 maps where we could quite possibly, and I mean, I guess we could talk about Haven too, but 4 maps where 100 Thieves could play that Sage, and you always have to be thinking about that. That is such a huge X factor for these guys as we look to kick things off underway. It's going to be a stack up towards A main here for 100 Thieves to try and get some early kills.
Well, you have to imagine that they're going to not ban Split if we're even going to see Sage on Split. I want to mention I actually did do a little bit of research, and they actually have played Sage once in the past against FaZe, which was a 13-10 loss, and that was during First Strike, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, Twitch chat. It's not unexpected. It looks like they actually have practiced this before, and they're going to be once again relying on trying to take some early fights. Very similar to this kind of T-side aggression that we saw, or sorry, attacker-sided aggression in map number 1, but this time they're doing it on the defense. And they've actually gotten a little bit of a step up. Quick push from 5 Emperors as they look to go in towards B. Steel playing contact off of his turret, and things could get real bloody here, Tanner.
Steel might not even be needed there in the back. Silence going to find one up towards mid. There he goes. Now on the board is Steel. Nothing going to trade it back, so getting on the board a bit earlier here. Definitely helping kick things off, and unfortunately, nothing. You got to find a whole lot of something as Hiko going to find the shock dart kill. No better way to end that round. The spike planted though, so we're already seeing, the better half here of this pistol round going the way of 5 Emperors. They're going to have some extra credits, and we could quite possibly once more see that force coming on through.
I'll have to go ahead and keep a nice little eye out for it. It seems Frenzy's bought up. They're not really believing in the idea. They don't want to test their luck, if you would. But I think what was kind of interesting to note there is I feel like every time we've watched Nothing, he always has his paranoia late into the round. It does, I don't know, maybe it's something about how 5 Emperors are structuring their rounds, but it feels like he always has it for these clutches every time that he's alive in a 2v5 or a 1v5 or something like that. I don't know, I'm hoping that we see a little bit more of a emphasis on paranoia plays, because I think it could be possibly the trick that 5 Emperors are needed. But it's not the start that they needed, that is for sure. Once again, we're going to have a little bit more of a focus on Nothing, as it seems that they originally wanted to try to pester over towards Catwalk, but as that drone came through, they're going to back off and re-push a little bit later. There it is.
And not a whole lot of info gained. They know that they were there with that Download drone going out, but it was the Classic that took it down. So maybe they're not privy to the force just yet. Nabuki actually going to have a Spectre, so the better half of the SMGs. Some would say, the Stinger, just doing Stinger things sometimes gets the job done as well. As it's looking like another mid push. No utility going to be tossed out this way just yet, but they do have Silence waiting in the wings for this one to make sure nobody comes on through market. Close corner with an SMG. Should find contact onto 2. Dink's going to be the first to peek. No, it's not. It's going to be Nothing, and Dink's there to trade it. He'll be able to retrieve that spike. And now looking to head out onto this B site once more. That paranoia once more not going to be available for the push. Dink's just trying to inch on through. Steel with the close angle and an Ares to sit him down. It's 2 kills from the site. And it's 100 Thieves once more picking up another round.
I didn't even originally see that force come through from 5 Emperors because it felt so last second. But that is the big worry that you have every time you force up, much less against 100 Thieves, is that what if you lose it? This is what you're going to be seeing. A terrible, broken yard sale buy and not amazing chances for 5 Emperors. They have surprised me before. They did it a ton of times on Bind, but with pistols and on map number 2, it's seeming a little less likely. But You know, you always have to have a reason to watch, and I think, I'm hoping at least, that they can provide it right here. They're looking to push immediately towards A main. It doesn't seem to be going their way again, Tanner. The action, it begins so quickly, and it might end even quicker. 3 kills immediately for Asuna. Backs up, gets out of dodge, and 5 Emperors. They're left wondering what went wrong.
1 enemy remaining.
The aggression. I mean, this is what I wrote down in my notes here for 100 Thieves was it seemed like they were torn in that first map. Do we play it slow? Do we play it fast? Now it seems like they figured out exactly when to play it fastest. Hiko snakes away the 4K there from Asuna. But another 100T round. And I'm interested to see the economy. Okay, it is going to be full buys across the board. Full armor for this attacking squad as well. And 5 Emperors, they got to try and do something here. You saw for a moment an operator flexed into the hands of Dicey. I don't know if he is going to opt into that one, like you said, Ito. It is looking to be just another bonus round. You hang on to what you have because, hey, why not? It's been working.
Right here.
This is going to be incredibly important for 5 Emperors, however. This is going to be their best chance to get, not a freebie round, but a round on the board when it's a mostly an Eco, that is. Hiko has bought up a Vandal, so he does have some pretty heavy hitting weaponry. But for the most part, 100 Thieves, they're not really going to be evenly matched up against the Emperors. So maybe it's time for them to assert their reign, maybe get an early round on the board. Keep this as competitive as you can during the early stages of Ascent, or else you might get single eliminated.
Speaking of eliminations, that was awfully close now, unfortunately. Sean Peasy gonna have no way to try and take that fight once more as that stage wall gonna go up. It does get shot down, and he's still hanging out here on the lurk. It looks like the hit, not necessarily going towards A, but 5 Emperors' due diligence to try and bait out some utility, try and bait out some rotations as they look once more to push up towards mid. They should be answered by Hiko. Gonna be holding it down. Market door closed as well. And Hiko actually with the jump peek there is able to spot one. Try and tag him through the wall. Does get a bit of damage. Once more, it's on to nothing. Who has that spike in his hands. Now with 30 seconds, 5 Emperors, they like to dance with the clock here and they're running out of time. They just have to Trojan horse on out and it's not going their way. It's all Hiko. It's all 100 Thieves. And it's another rifle round to fall by the wayside.
Oh. That's just a rough one from 5 Emperors. That door, I mean, surprisingly, that felt like the 6th member for 100 Thieves at some points. That paranoia that went through from nothing, it was used just to mainly get market control, but I think it also would have blinded if anyone was playing close outside of it, which isn't too uncommon to see on rounds like the one that 100 Thieves had put together, which was, for the most part, stingers, but that was a great read by 100 Thieves, because one thing that I want to point out that happened is that when we were watching Nabaki's POV, you saw Dart go out onto A. It's a very standard dart that you use on most executes, but 100T did not rotate. They were so disciplined, because they knew it was either potentially fake, or, I mean, they could handle it just with those 2 players that they had at site. It's the discipline that's making the difference, at least so far, for 100 Thieves. 5 Emperors look to conga line up towards Catwalk and maybe overwhelm Silence.
And it's the discipline for me. Zito as Silence
Paranoia.
Gonna remain disciplined here. Now pushing through the smoke. Has another one to worry about. Is able to take down the blades, but it's gonna be traded back almost immediately. Hiko.
Huge.
With that Hunter's Fury, the spike goes down, planted in an awkward spot, the backside of the generator. The Emperors now only on 2 members. That recon bolt goes down. Nabaki just gonna do everything he can to try and delay the defuse, but Steel sticks it. 100 Thieves win it. The 5 Emperors gotta go right back to the drawing board as Sean Peasy was trying to inch out anything he could on the end. They do damage the economy by 1, and Dicey is still sitting on that barrier orb for a score in that kills section. So there's small victories for 5 Emperors, but unfortunately being down 5 rounds is not where you want to be.
Not at all, but at least there is a light at the end of this tunnel. It's another buy up here. But, I mean, that light could be easily dimmed when you notice that Dicey has also brought in that operator to play with. Again, hopefully find that first kill. Once again, 5 Emperors want to full send it towards A. This time it's even more one-dimensional than that last round we saw. They're not keeping anyone over towards Catwalk for potentially a late pick or, you know, just some sort of semblance of map control. They want to full send it directly through A main. Incredible risk that they're making here, but potentially a really nice payoff. They need to find this opening kill, though, or if nothing else, at least trade each other out. The execute probably will begin on the mark of the start or the smoke going through. So pay attention to that, because 100 Thieves sure as hell have. They're bringing another player over, and another one's on its way. Here comes a push right on in. 5 Emperors, they're already in on the site so aggressively.
Inks lives up to his name, finds a couple of kills, or a couple of headshots as Steel finds a couple. Now going to be traded back, and Nabiki off the site looking for the Hunter's Fury. Unfortunately, only finds a bit of damage. Now, 4-5 Emperors, this is arguably one of the most precarious places to be. Down not only a player, but that spike is sitting nice and proper on this A site. Both Owl drones traded out there, and 2 members hanging out. One gonna be tagged. You already know he's there, so it's not the end of the world to give that information up. But do they know that the Jet is hanging out over towards Wine? Dinks got into the site and out of the site. Nice and easy like now. Dicey in a bad spot, though. Hiko from downtown finds a kill onto Dinks, the man I was once praising. And Hiko finds another. So Dicey drops the operator. Hiko will pick it up, and I don't know if he still remains killless. He does, but that's okay because 5 Emperors still remain winless.
Well, you know, it's all about the impact that you provide, and I think, you know, there's even that one voice line, that cheesy voice line that you hear every time that you seemingly have a bad day in Valorant, where it doesn't matter if you're having a bad day, you can still contribute to help your team win, or something of the sort. I'm not the voice actor here. I mean, it reigns true there. 4 assists already. He's been providing some great slow orbs, and obviously the heal is nothing short of notable. And finally, he gets a kill. It takes a little while, but he finally comes online, and everybody else, especially on the 5 Emperors side, seem to be going offline. You have yet to pick up a win, and I don't think this is the round that it's going to happen. They have gotten that trade frag, Tanner, and that is huge, but they haven't been able to come out on top of almost any situation. And it's just so rough. I'm not trying to downplay them. I'm just saying this is not a winning recipe on paper.
I mean, you're spitting facts there. 6 rounds to 0. I don't think you can argue that. Still going to peek on out, playing the wonky corners the entire game. Steel and hanging out just where you will not expect him. Now Dicey looking for another one. That shot going to go wide left once more. And he is going to back away. Not opting in, giving up a kill against the operator. No, he's going to go right back to it. There's no wall boost. That one going to miss to the right. The next one surely will be right down the middle, unless Hiko takes this one away.
Good
it's a
paranoia.
2v4, a winnable round if they can pick up a couple of kills here. But Dicey finally tracks down his prey. Will finally take him down and finds another through the box. Pops the grape of Dinks. It's a 3K in this round. It's a 7th round win by 100 Thieves, and 5 Emperors on their map pick. Eco are looking really dicey here.
I don't know my name was Eco. Come on, man. But, I mean, it's not quite an Eco. If you want to go ahead and, you know, maybe be realistic with the economy here. 5 Emperors, I mean, they have plenty going their way when it comes to rifles. Not so much kills, but they have some decent ultimates. Right off the bat, I mean, I have to mention that they have the lockdown in play. It's so standard that you see a lockdown execute, and I think it's going to be their best bet to maybe pick up a first here. But it's not the initial take that's worrying for 5 Emperors. It's what comes after. And 100 Thieves are lethal in those scenarios, if they can even make it the late round. Asuna doesn't seem to be sticking with the trend as he's gone down first. And this is a notable time. The first time in, I think, this entire game where 100 Thieves have been on the back foot by a decent margin. To even things up, though, of course, it's going to be Silenx. I don't even know why I was worried. Right back into form will be 100 Thieves as they take that man lead back. And now 5 Emperors, I mean, they have to burst out onto the A site, expectedly. But I'm saying, they can take the site. It's what comes after, Tanner, that's so scary.
And Dinks doing such a good job to kick the round off in favor of 5 Emperors. And Silenx just fitting so well into this roster for 100 Thieves right now, like a glove. Making sure that 5 Emperors aren't running away with too much. Down a member as that Recon Dart goes through. Not going to find that info on Dicey. Dinks holding this angle operator. The rifle, it is going to be traded back though. Silenx once more. The trade kill comes through and it's all down to 1. It's all down to Nabiki in the 1v1 against Hiko. Who Sova can be clutch. It's a shock dart. It's 46. Make it 31 HP. Now, The time, Hiko's just got to send it. No, he doesn't, because he just goes clutch. Finally, Hiko gets on the clutch board, and 5 Emperors still sit on that goose egg.
Beautiful darts, overwhelming presence from them. You've heard of average Jonas, but right now Hiko's looking like above average Jonas with those darts. Beautifully played. He keeps them for just the right moment. Not throwing them out early. It's not too uncommon to see. You know, I think it's Profi in particular who tosses his shock darts out sometimes immediately at the beginning over towards B main if he hears anything. But no, the discipline. Again, it's paying off so well for 100 Thieves, reflected in their scoreline, but also really reflecting kind of, well, in the ears, in the eyes of 5 Emperors as they got it really close there. Let's be honest here. They did get a nice amount of trades. They got that spike planted. But, I mean, they struggle in the 1v1, the 2v1. It's just so hard to, I mean, really get past that hump. I know we're on Wednesday right now, but still, the hump remains.
All quiet.
On the
We're in the same boat. We're in the same boat here. All quiet on literally the western front as we're on the west side of the map. And I love just the ambient sounds of this map as well. You hear that wind blowing as Steel boosted right up behind the turret. Could be a scary spot to be, but can also find possibly a couple of kills. Is not actually even going to get blinded. Takes it down, plays off contact, and is able to find one. Nabiki trades it back. Back and forth they go. Red and blue are going to go.
Enemy remaining.
As Silence makes me eat my words there. Picking up 2 to keep things uneven. No paranoia in his hands as nothing. The last remaining in a 1v3. He needs to try and get that spike planted. He's going to pick up a kill onto the counterpart, but Dicey sits him down, and that was quiet. It was, I think, expected to be a play towards A as we saw Hunter T kind of hover that way for a bit. Dicey was headed over towards mid, and Steel was holding it down with his turret there. And that's one of those rounds. That one, if you blink, you missed it. I don't know if that Lear was actually even going to blind.
I want to say it was blocked kind of by the turret. Like, the line of sight might have broken it. I'd have to look at that replay over and over again to really dissect it. But, yeah, it definitely didn't seem to work to its intended effect. 100 Thieves,
Get out of my way.
absolutely on mark right now. Have yet to drop a single round. And I don't think this is the one where it happens too. But we can always be surprised. Again, that's what Valorant always offers. We have that Blade Storm in play, plus 4 ultimates to work with. 5 Emperors, they have some tools. Now they actually need to make a project out of it. Doesn't seem to be off to the greatest start. Champisi goes down, so no longer are they going to have that turret, swarm grenades, and play anything of the sort, but they still have those ultimates that I mentioned, Tanner. And that's probably what matters most.
We're about to find out how much they matter here. Paranoia was used. Silence through the smokes. He's going to find nothing. Alir comes through. Dink's not going to be able to find too much there. Asuna getting aggressive over towards Heaven. The blades come through. Dicey's able to trade one back, but it's not on that jet. Still having the blades available. Shots through the wall. The door still up and the spike in hand. They need to get it down. It's all up to Sai here. Stinger, Reyna, Hiko. Couple of things there to close out the round. It's 10 rounds to 0. And let's be honest, Ito. 100 Thieves, they're pretty familiar. Oh, I would say they are pretty familiar. I'm just gonna stick with it. And 13-0s, being on the better half of them, that is.
Well, I mean, I'm sure that they're a little bit envious, if you would. But really, they haven't been able to get anything here. They're jealous at just the amount of rounds that 100T have been able to amass. The rich get richer, man. I mean, already they're up to almost 5 ultimates. 100 Thieves haven't had to use anything. No stranger to 13 zeros, but after how promising map number 1 seemed for 5 Emperors, you can't help but feel it's a little bit, depressing. Kind of seeing the underdogs fall a little bit. Comebacks are always possible. Again, I don't want to make you not believe, but it's becoming increasingly more difficult to think of ways back into this game. At least 5 Emperors only used 1 ultimate, that being the Blade Storm for that last round, but again, I can't help but look at them because I think it's going to decide so much. Rotates, by the way, I want to mention, they seem to be hovering around A. Something that you mentioned previously. They lead Dicey over towards B main. once again finds Sean Peasy. I'm getting a little bit of deja vu right now. It's the same approach once again from 5 Emperors.
That same kill over in B main, Sean Peasy just continuing to try and challenge that, and it just has not gone their way. And sometimes you can just chalk it up to things aren't going our ways. He's going a bit of trouble, had his knife out, hopping around.
30 seconds
Able to
left.
toss out that recon bolt and spots too. He is going to opt
Didn't shoot it?
into just heading over towards that B site, but the spike now rotating back towards mid, and it might just be caught up here as that Lear comes through. Nanoswarm going to stop the push momentarily. Paranoia on top of it all, and a smoke goes down. 5 Emperors, they're running out of time. They just have to get on the site and get the spike down. The Hunter's Fury going to deny for now. Dink's going to try and get it down. Steel trying to push out onto the site. They're going to run right into 3 members, but they're going to run down 3 members. And it's all up to Nabaki here, or it's going to be 11 rounds over to 100 Thieves, and it's looking like it's just going to be that. Silence sits him down, and 5 Emperors. The only thing I've got written in my notes right now about this team is clock with a question mark. They like to flirt with the idea of running out of time. We've seen it over and over. It's such a scary place to be. And then when you do that to yourself, you're forced into situations like that where you just have to hold W key just to try and get that spike down so you don't lose the round.
It's the T1 effect, man. I know they're flirting with the idea of running down the clock, but they've had so many bad dates at this point where I think they just need to completely change the pace. Really. I mean, this is 100 Thieves at their best. Their defensive calls are great, and they don't even have to completely break the playbook. They don't even have to have any crazy hard reads or setups, anything of the sort. Again, I want to mention that this is the map pick of 5 Emperors, but you would never be able to tell considering how this is going so far. And this is the change of pace that I was hoping to see, Tanner. Right away, 5 Emperors look to push in. Sean Peasy finds his 2nd kill of the game, and what a well-timed one at that. He gets that door closed, probably gets that spike down too, and we enter a very uncomfortable post-plant.
Just got a whole lot more uncomfortable. That Hunter's Fury only going to buy a bit of time. Everybody going to get mowed down. And at the half we go, 12-0 for 100 Thieves, and it's only a pistol round separating your First Strike champions from grabbing themselves a 13-0 here in the round of 128.
It just seems overwhelming. I mean, they're the favorites, but I mean, this doesn't feel like the same 5 Emperors that we saw previously. They're not winning some of their individual duels in the same way that they did previously. Map number 1 kind of feels like a pipe dream at this point, considering how map number 2 is going. This is not unexpected, mind you, but it definitely is a little bit of a heartbreak, considering how this one originally looked for 5 Emperors. And that's really the only big thing that I can kind of chalk up here. It's 12-0 at the half, excuse me, and only 1 away. 100 Thieves have a pretty solid setup to start with here. I mean, they're just gonna rush A or rush B, excuse me. No, stop. I guess that's as solid as a setup as you can get. 5 Emperors, now's their chance to stem the wound a tiny bit.
It definitely could hurt to take away that 13-0 as another shock dart kill coming on through. Nabaki finds 3 with the ghost silencing 100 Thieves. Now Hiko trying to find the clutch. Paranoia is out, and he's able to find that kill onto nothing. He has the spike in his hands and a whole lot of time on the clock. He's good for 1 clutch. The only one that he was put in this game. Now needs to go good for another. Was a 1v4, now 1v3. He's going to creep up towards mid, spot out 1, but the frenzy mows him down. It's a moral victory for 5 Emperors as they pick up a round.
Let it be known that 5 Emperors never lose 13 in a row. I mean, they got that going for them. This will have to be the start of something absolutely marvelous. It's a way to start, I mean, for sure. Pretty confident looking, a beautiful individual effort from Nabaki. Those aren't shots that you can always rely on happening, but you can definitely rely on even 2 of those kills probably going the way of the defenders. That was a great round from him, again, individually, but we need to see a little bit more. Obviously, 100 Thieves being up such a massive margin are going to be forcing up into the second, and they have a relatively decent track record regarding force-ups. So let's just go ahead and use our imagination. What can 5 Emperors do here? Looks like right now they're completely, well, gambling, to say the least. They've already kept nothing over towards A, and he started towards mid. I'm thinking that right now, 100 Thieves can kind of run the clock down. Probably not to the same effect that 5 Emperors were doing in their half, but, you know, again, rely on that info that 100 Thieves is so good at playing off of.
A lot of info gained there. I think 1 on A, 2 over towards tree were both spotted out. As those Lear goes through, it's going to be SMG battles over towards this A site. Asuna not going to look towards that. Lear finds the reload, but not going to find the kill there. Nothing with a beautiful peek to sit him down, but Steel on the opposite side. Picked up that first kill, opening up this B site, and it was all an elaborate ploy to rotate off B site. 100 Thieves. I'm sorry, yeah, rotate off B site. 100 Thieves have since planted the spike and will now hold it down. Nothing trying to creep up the leaderboard with that Stinger in hand. A 4v3. 100 Thieves once more find themselves on the back foot, and we've seen how some of these can turn out for 5 Emperors.
3 seconds until dart. That's going to be their cue to push, I'm pretty sure. Oh no, they won't even get that far! That, okay, it's got to be done, man. How does it end like that? You blink and you miss it almost surely, but